Heaven and hell. That is the topic that we would like to cover today in this episode. Where do we go when we die? These two words do not mean the same thing. It's a choice. We hope through this episode you got the answer. Welcome to Arise and Shine at Amazing Grace Learning Center. There is no one on this planet who is not concerned about this issue of heaven and hell. We might sometimes push this question into our desired body and tend or pretend not to think about it. But there comes a time in the life of every individual on this planet when we try to get answers to this question. Where do we go when we die? Does really heaven exist? Or does hell really exist? We would like to approach this question or these terms today through this episode, and we hope what we are about to share here today will help somebody. To begin, I would like to say that we are not here at Amazing Grace Learning Center to discriminate any religion or to talk any belief system down. And we are not also here to tell anybody anything like, this is only what you have to do in order to get to heaven, or if you don't do this, you are going to end up in hell. That is not why we are here. If you have watched some of our previous episodes, we talked about the term religion and spirituality. These two words do not mean the same thing. Religion is a man-made thing. I repeat myself. Religion is a man-made thing. That is why religion can never give us answers that go beyond what only spirituality can answer. So if you want to find answers to some of the riddles of life, you need to become spiritual, or you have to embrace spirituality. Let me give you few things about, or let me share a few things with you here about the differences between religion and spirituality when it comes to heaven and hell. Religion will tell you that you have to wait and die before you can access heaven. Spirituality will tell you that that's not true. Spirituality will tell you that heaven is in you here right now. It's already in you. You don't have to die before you experience it. You see, that is the difference. Religion promises heaven after death. Spirituality tells you it's here and it is already in you. Religion will tell you that before you can get what you need in life, you have to pray or talk or promise something to a being in the sky called, I don't know what you call it, but some call it God. And they say you have to pray to a God who is seated in the sky, waiting for you to beg him, to pray, to lament, to do all kinds of things before you can get your prayer answered. Spirituality will tell you that that's not true, because there is no such thing as a God sitting in the sky waiting for you to pray, to lament, to cry, and to do all kinds of things that religion is telling you to do before you can get answers to your prayers. Spirituality will teach you that that God that you are putting in the sky, thinking that there is a God there, spirituality will tell you that that God is in you. And this God that we are talking about is in everybody. It's in your heart. It is in you. And spirituality will teach you and help you understand how to connect to this God in you, not a God in the sky. But religion will tell you otherwise. You see, my friend, when we want to talk about heaven and hell, we need to see it from these two angles. From the angle of religion, if you are talking about heaven and hell from the perspective of religion, well, I've already touched on that. Religion is telling you that you have to die before you go there. But from the perspective of spirituality, you have to learn to manifest that heaven which is already in you here on earth right now as we are speaking. Last time in our episode, we talked about the soul, we talked about the spirit, and we also talked about our body. And we tried to show you that these three parts of our being form what we call human. And we went on and said that the soul is here on earth for a purpose. The soul chose to descend to this level of physicality to experience life, not as a spirit that already knows all things, but as a spirit or a part of the spirit that wants to be human and know and learn and feels like a human. It's a choice. Because if the soul descends to this level of physicality and already knows everything and doesn't need to learn anything, well, what is the point coming down here? That is what makes us human. We chose to be here, and it's a choice that we made. So if that is the reason why we are here, why will somebody tell us that if we came down here and were not able to learn all our lessons before we die, we should go or we will go to hell? The terms heaven and hell are terms that religion has used for many centuries to bully humanity. It's a term that has been used to put fear in us. And we said in our last episode that fear is the cause of all the problems that we are going through in life. Because when we are operating from fear, we are not ourselves. We are not operating from peace. We are not operating from joy. We are not operating from love. Therefore, everything in our life will just be upside down. Because fear is a deadly weapon. And you will agree with me that anyone who is talking about heaven or hell has that fear within. So my friend, I'm here to announce and I'm here to declare and tell you that heaven and hell are religious terms. They are not spiritual terms. Because religion is what taught us what we call good and evil. Spirituality doesn't tell you what is good and evil. Spirituality doesn't tell what is called good and evil. In spirituality, there is no such thing as good and evil. So if the term good and evil came from religion, heaven and hell came from religion. I leave you with this choice now. It's now up to you to choose. Do you want to believe in heaven and hell? The choice is yours. But what I can promise you is, if you embrace spirituality, you will come to a point when you will understand that heaven and hell are not real. Heaven and hell are man-made concepts, just as good and evil are man-made concepts. In spirituality, there is no such thing as good and evil, for everything is what it is and is part of the process of learning. For all are working together to prepare the soul for her ascension. And when the soul has learned her lessons and has completed her mission here on planet Earth, the soul is reunited to her bride, or to her groom rather, excuse me. The soul is called she and is the bride, so she is reunited to her groom. My friends, we hope what we share with you today will help you clear your mind and will give you this peace that you've been longing for, asking, am I going to go to heaven when I die, or am I going to go to hell? We hope through this episode you got the answer. We love you at Amazing Grace Learning Center, and it's our pleasure to bring this information to you and to share this with you. We love you and be well. Bye, and see you next time.